What's up, everybody? Yo, yo. Welcome to another episode of Tree City. What should we call this? Tree City Live? I decided to take the trading out to help with the search terms. Hope everybody's having a good Monday. Let me know how the mic sounds. I'm really working on these microphone settings here. Hopefully I'm not too loud here. Switch that song up. What's up, Tazenian? What's up, Allie? What's up, Howler? Welcome, welcome. What a crazy day. Started the day off with some bullish news on Bitcoin. Ended up being completely fake news. The first spot Bitcoin ETF was approved. So said Reuters and Bloomberg and Cointelegraph. And it all ended up being on a false report from Cointelegraph, aka Cointelali. Let's see if they still have the tweets up. Dear community, we hold ourselves to high journalistic standards and consider it important to address the mistakes we made with full transparency. Here's what happened today regarding the tweet about the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. Zach XBT, that's pretty funny. Do you have a source? Oh man. So that was pretty crazy today. If we come over and take a look at the Bitcoin chart. We have this insane scam wick here. We call these scam wicks, where we went all the way from under 28,000. We were at about 27,750. We came all the way up to 30,000 exactly. And then we came right back down. If we switch over to the 1 minute chart, it's way more obvious. Like, look at that. News broke. Oh wait, there's no source. BlackRock came out and said it's fake. It's not approved. Okay, it's coming right back down. This isn't even a Bart Simpson pattern. This is just market manipulation. You know, this is lies. Shout out to the 5 viewers. Hope you guys are having a good night. Oh, I forgot to send the link out. Let's go do that real quick. I posted on Twitter, but I did not throw it in the So we're trying a new thing. I switched over to Streamlabs, and that allows me to stream on multiple platforms now. So not only are we on YouTube, we're actually over on kick.com, and we're on Twitch TV. And we're streaming on X, on Twitter right now. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, we can see that's working. 0 viewers over there. Take a look at Twitch. We got 0 viewers over on Twitch. That's working. Howler likes the new layout. Thank you. Thank you. Got some fun stuff here. And then, yeah, over on Kick. We have 1 viewer over on Kick. That's 2 more than... That's funny. So shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for being here. We're just hanging out on a Monday night. One thing that is cool is I was recently approved for a YouTube partnership. So now things like I enabled the YouTube memberships. On the weekends, the YouTube live streams will be private for members only for the hash heads. And then also super chats are a thing now. I'm not sure if it's working, if you guys can actually see that yet, but it should be enabled on the chat. So obviously I don't need a super chat or anything, but I am kind of curious if you can see it. Like, do you guys see the options in there? There should be like super chats and super icons and stuff. And then the members also get emojis. I created 4 emojis. I'm not sure if you guys can see those. So let me know if that's activated. I'm not sure if that's live yet, but it should be in there. But yeah, Bitcoin is it. This just tells me that people are on the sidelines. There's a lot of stable coin. If you look at the USDT dominance, it's way up. Well, it's down now that people are actually spending it, but this just says that there's capital waiting for a big thing to happen like that. People put their dollars, you know, in stable coins, and they're waiting for a BlackRock ETF or some other big news. Or they're looking to go the opposite way, and if there's some black swan, they'll short it to the bottom, you know. But just some fake news on a spot ETF blasted Bitcoin up. What was this, 5%? 7.5%. That's crazy. And then it came right back down because it was fake. People took their money right back out. And this is all retail, you know. This is just people hearing the news and buying it, and then they're like, oh, let me put that back. So it was exciting for about an hour this morning. What's up, crypto bruh? I mean, I gotta give you a hammer or a wrench or whatever. Let me do that real quick. I don't know if I can. Oh shit, first super chat. What's up, Rolando? Thank you, sir. That's pretty cool. Let me see if I can make... Oh, I gotta do it in this other window here. But yeah, you can see Bitcoin came right back to reality. Looking at the 1 hour chart here. That one scam wick is so funny. It's like a bearish hammer or something. You don't see the emojis. Oh no. I think you have to be a member. I'm not sure if that showed up yet. I couldn't see it earlier. It says that it's enabled, but it was just this afternoon that I got the email, so we'll see what happens there. Let me know how it sounds. I also had to reconfigure all my mic settings, so I'm not sure if the compressor and the EQ or... Last night sounded real shitty, so hopefully it sounds a little better tonight. If it doesn't, let me know. If it sounds like butthole, we can definitely make some adjustments here. But let's head over to Crypto Bubble, see what's moving here. Got any movers on the day? Got Hex down 2%. Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision up 2%. It's funny. But yeah, everything's just kind of sideways. Just kind of a weird day. We did have a little pump. Oh shit, Rolando donated 99 cents through Super Chat. That's cool. So the alerts work as well. That's nice. Very delayed on the alerts, but it definitely worked. That's cool. That's cool. Thank you, sir. Hell yeah. That's what's up. But yeah, that's crazy. BSV up 15% on the day. Bitcoin Cash. All these forks of Bitcoin. Casper's up 4.4%. Very interesting. You know, all these proof of work coins are kind of pumping right now. And that's because they're not securities. You know, there's always this big concern that these proof of stake coins that had the ICOs, the initial coin offerings, those are considered securities. Luckily, XRP case kind of changes that mindset. You know, it's not really a security when it's sold on the exchange, which is good for us. That protects the retail investor. But these proof of work coins are pumping right now because they're definitely not a security. And things like Bitcoin and BSV and Bitcoin Cash. CASP is a little different though. This is a little newer. I'm not sure if they had a pre-mine or anything. They might have. Litecoin, that's another one. Ethereum Classic up 2%. That's another one. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, bro. What's up, Zenthusiast? Welcome, welcome. Seeing a nice little pump on Zen as well. It's going to test that level again. So it keeps knocking at this door. You know, this is going back to October 10th. So the last week, it's been up here once, twice, 3 times. So this is the 4th time trying to knock on this door. If we can't break through that, it's not going to be looking good. We're looking at the 15-minute chart here. But I mean, on this 15-minute chart over the last week, we are making higher lows, which is a good thing. Which is really surprising too. You know, all this coin tool bullshit FUD. People are talking so shitty about everything crypto, really. But Zen looks like it's kind of putting in a bottom here. I mean, it's and it might just be that falling knife effect. You never know. But this is that first level it has to break through. And you can even see right here, it used to be support. So when was this? Back at the end of September, we were kind of bouncing on this level of support. We fell through. Now we're knocking at the door trying to get back through. Hopefully we can come back through. We'll see what happens. But Zen's a tough coin to do TA on, that's for sure. See, OP Zen's taking a dump. I was kind of curious. I almost want to go set up some... I want to compare the price of Zen to the price of OP Zen at the time of the EAA in the AMP. Specifically the AMP, I guess. And you can kind of map it to where, you know, 290 would be like 2900 for the regular Zen, and you kind of map it along just to get a comparison. I'm curious of where we're at right now, you know, and what that would look like with the price action. It's kind of interesting. But OP Zen making new lower lows. But meanwhile, Pulse Chain Zen's making a little pump. It's kind of looking like the ETH Zen chart, making these higher lows. That's always nice to see. I mean, this also kind of looks like a head and shoulders, so we could be coming right back down. We'll see. You know, people are getting hyped for DB Zen launching on Pulse Chain. That should be pretty interesting. I know they're kind of changing the tokenomics, the rules of DB Zen, and they're also launching the DB Zen NFTs at the same time. So I wonder what the dynamic's going to be like there. Are people going to use the traditional staking? Are they going to go for the Zen NFTs? What are you guys going to do? But I think that hype is positively affecting the Pulse Chain Zen. It's been pretty beat up too with the SEC stuff a couple months ago. It's good old P Zen. And DB Zen, man, with these big old wicks. They got as low as $1.25. That's crazy. You know, now is kind of the time I would expect DB Zen to be moving up. So this is really kind of surprising. I didn't expect this to happen. It is kind of shocking. But, you know, it kind of comes hand in hand with the price of Zen. When Zen gets cheaper, it becomes cheaper to burn, so naturally DB Zen will get cheaper because you can get more DB Zen for less cost. Richard Hart has to talk soon, November 26th. I know, right? Where's he been, man? Do you think it's him tweeting? You think that's him running his account right now, or is he gone? Is that part of the conspiracy? Was he taken by the government, or is he dead? You know, maybe he died and there's just someone running his account. Who knows? DB's on an avalanche with a little 7% pump, but there's such low liquidity over on these chains. I mean, that's gonna happen. $600, yeah, on Uniswap. Look at Phantom DB Zen up 30%. But it's just staying in this range. I mean, this is a liquidity provider's... Yeah, that's just ranging. You set up in that range, you'll just get all the fees. That's where it's at. I don't think you can do that on Spooky Swap, though. It's not like Uniswap. I might burn all my PZen for DB Zen for the culture. I only have like 3 billion or so. Oh, for sure. I'm glad that they stuck with the timeline, because I've been specifically staking my my Zen on Pulse Chain for DB Zen. I always forget. Let's go dive into that real quick. And honestly, looking back, I mean, the right move would have been put it in stablecoin somehow. I don't even think you can do that on Pulse Chain safely, at least. Maybe DAI or something, but yeah, I'm not sure. I know there's like the DAI, and then there's the DAI from Ethereum. It's all messed up. But what I ended up doing is I bought like $100 worth of PZen, and I've just been staking it, and it's still worth about $100 because I made some yield. So I basically extended it. I did a short-term stake after my long stake, and now I'm just this will basically free up the day before DBZen launches on Pulse Chain. So it's not much. I'm only getting like an extra 300 million, but you know, I'll probably burn this. Maybe not all the first day, but that's kind of the plan. You know, the first day is always the biggest, but the second, third, fourth day, you know, there's less people participating, especially lately. You know, that's kind of what happened with DB's NFTs. It went crazy that first day, and then the days after, it's pretty slow. Since we're talking about it, let's go check out DBZen. We looked at the yields yesterday. We'll see what we're getting today. Burning all the PZen for DBZen. I wonder how long people will hold the ceiling. Yeah, we'll see. The other thing about Pulse Chain is the gas was all fucked up at the beginning, so it was super expensive. As time goes on, there's way more mints. Maybe not more mints because people aren't really minting because gas is low, but they should be. Anybody minting now is going to have such cheap Zen, and it's just going to dump the price. In my opinion, anyway. I've only played on ETH. Now it can be risky and fun and an experiment for cheap prices on Pulse. Hell yeah. That's what's up. What's happening here? So yeah, this is kind of crazy. I mean, I'm barely getting anything in the regular ETH on DBZen. It's going very slow with, and I only have 250 DBZen staked, but there was a time when I was getting, you know, 0.01 per day. Now I'm getting 10% of that. That's pretty rough. What's up, John? Is 200. Anyone doing videos on DB's NFT tactics? So many people are getting wrecked and out of monies. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about wrecked, but yeah, the rewards are kind of wonky. Let's see what we got. So I'm up to 0.179. So this is good. I mean, I'm happy with that. I haven't added any DBZen, and I basically created this with 0.11 DBZen, and I staked 20 DBZen the first night. And the first night I got 0.12, so I ROI'd the first night, and then I've just been slowly accumulating. But it's been at one, I mean, this isn't moving at all. It's probably time to claim this and move on. Let's go switch over to Polygon real quick. And the Polygon rewards, they were so good the first week. Like the first couple days, I was getting a ton of rewards. But now it's like, I think last night we had 0.07 for staking 1,000 DBZen. That's a 200 power, and I got 0.07. So that's kind of sad. I mean, that's kind of the title's wrong, not a fake out. It's a forewarning of price pumps. I feel that, Edwin. I feel that for sure. That's a good point. Did you see that tweet? I think I retweeted it earlier. The guy from Rollbit. It was the official Rollbit account too. That's why I was cracking up about it. Yeah. Rollbit.com. This you? Cointelegraph. $2.25 million profit on a wager on Bitcoin. Pumping. Zach XPT, what? Bro. The funny thing about this is it's the official Rollbit account. Like, it's the verified one and everything. So they're just straight up calling out Cointelegraph for taking $2 million for some fake Bitcoin news. How funny is that? That shit is hilarious. And that's just Rollbit. You know they had longs open too. That's too funny. I was there. I'm lucky I don't have any leverage trading sites. Like I was using KuCoin and MEXC, but now they're all illegal to use in the US. You have to use a VPN and shit. So when I'm on my phone, I can't just quickly open a 20x, degen long anymore. And I'm kind of glad, because I would have got my ass handed to me. That's for sure. And I wonder who it was. Was it some intern? Some intern at Cointelegraph that just had the Twitter account? And they're like, yeah, I'm going to put in this wager and freak everybody out. And they didn't expect it to be that big. Or was it some major manipulation? Because there was a nice pump on Bitcoin yesterday. So whoever planted that information could have opened a bunch of longs yesterday and then took advantage this morning. It's very possible. Definitely manipulation though, for sure. There's no question about it. It got me. I was excited. It just shows everybody's ready for that ETF. This is hilarious. Putting me against Crypto Bruh in honey deals. I can respect that. Those are two very, very awesome people. I look up to both of them, for sure. But I should be in first, so definitely go vote for me. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So why don't we talk about XenBlocks? I was trying to get my notes together for the show today. And what I did, I basically searched for all of Jack's little tidbits that he drops in the Telegram, and I popped them all into ChatGPT. And it's basically the news, the updates for XenBlocks over the last week, summarized by ChatGPT from the updates that Jack has posted. Not just Jack, there's other people too. Some of this is speculation and everything. So the first thing that's really cool about XenBlocks is right now is the technical architecture is being built out right in front of our eyes. When this started, it was just a weekend idea that Jack had. It wasn't anything fully developed. It wasn't anything fully developed yet. It was just kind of an idea, and we were all mining on CPUs. We didn't really understand anything about proof of work, or how much hash power is needed, and what the different models of these GPUs do. That was all beyond me. But I wanted to learn about the XenBlocks thing, and now it's starting to get real when we start talking about consensus and being able to transfer. If I have 20 super blocks, I'm going to be able to transfer them to somebody, possibly sell them if they're interested in procuring them. It's going to be interesting once we have staking, be able to stake your Xenium and your XenBlocks and be able to earn rewards. Need to change that song. I was getting too wild there. But now we're starting to see it really built out. And here's what it's looking like from the technical architecture standpoint. The first thing is it's an Ethereum-based account model. So it's going to be EVM compatible, and that's huge. That means that you're going to be able to bridge easily from Ethereum and to all the other Zen chains. Once this becomes a thing, once there's consensus, and I'm going to be able to send you XenBlocks, I'll be able to bridge that over. That'll be a technical possibility because we're using an Ethereum-based account model. And the way that they're doing that is super interesting. With this Python interpreter, basically the blockchain is going to be running on Golang, the Go language, and it sounds really interesting. So the block records will be stored on the blockchain using Merkle trees, and these are immutable records. And basically, in the graphic, they're kind of built on top of each other. So it starts with one, they kind of branch off, and it kind of looks like a tree with a bunch of branches, and it all just kind of leads back to the Merkle root. if you take a piece out of the Merkle tree, you can't rebuild the rest of the tree. It makes it immutable. So that part is how the blocks are stored and the records are written within the Merkle trees. Now we're also using these Patricia trees for the state representation. And this is how you can query the blockchain to see how many tokens you have, how much Xenium you have. And this actually works right now. So if I pull up my MetaMask, you can pop in the RPC settings. And if you're not sure of the RPC settings, just head over to hashhead.io. And here, let me search for XenBlocks. This is a good demonstration because I don't actually have it in my wallet here. So if I come over to hashhead.io, I can add the XenBlocks network with this button. So I just hit this button, it adds the network automatically. You can see it's the XenBlocks.io 5556 URL, has the chain ID, the currency symbol. Go ahead and approve that. Switch over to the network. And now I can see how much Xenium I actually have in my account. And you can also see how many SuperBlocks you have by adding the SuperBlocks token. So I just hit the add SuperBlock token. I can see there's a transaction waiting in my wallet. Once to add that, you can see my 20 SuperBlocks here. And then same with Zuni. I can add the Zuni token here, hit the button, approve the transaction. It's not a transaction, it's just adding the token address. And now when I click on tokens, I can see all 3 types of tokens. And that is actually managed through the Patricia tree state representation. That's how you can immutably verify your balances from the blockchain records. So that's pretty sweet. It's pretty cool to see that built out. Like I 2 weeks ago, I've never heard of a Patricia tree. I've heard of Merkle trees, and I knew it had something to do with Ethereum consensus, and I've heard Vitalik talk about it. But now that I understand, like it creates immutable records, kind of an immutable database, and these Patricia trees are kind of a way to read that database on the fly, basically. And then the cool thing about the proof of work side, we're using the Argon 2, which is the memory hard algorithm mining. We're starting to see this in the miners, where not necessarily paying for the most expensive miner is the best option. It's more so getting the best bang for your buck. And we're seeing that, like, right now the 4090 is kind of the flagship graphics card right now, but the 3090s aren't that much slower, but they're much cheaper to use. So you can run maybe 2 3090s for the price of a 4090. And now we're starting to see the price of the 4090s come down because the GPU guys want to get those rented out as well. So it's kind of cool to see these GPU rental wars. In Crypto Bros stream this morning, we had one of the guys just kind of pop in there, and he's like, you know, I found you guys because you're running the Zen GPU miner, and I Googled it, and you know, I saw it was running on my rig, and I didn't know what it was, so he looked into it and he found the channel, and he found Zen, and it's such an interesting way to onboard new people. It's really organic. It's not like a marketing thing. He just happened to see that Zen GPU miner was running on his graphics card that he was running on Vast, and then he went and found Crypto Bros stream, and he showed up and started asking questions. And he looked at the Zen chart, and he's like, I don't want to mine some shit that looks like that. And we were like, no, it's a different project. That's pretty funny. So it's just amazing. It's amazing what XenBlocks is doing right now. So it also kind of opened our eyes to the POW versus the POS perspective. The proof of work versus the proof of stake. Let me take a swig of water. So right now, proof of stake is kind of being shoved down our throats over the last couple of years. You know, we're being told that proof of work mining is unhealthy for the environment. It's unsafe. It contributes to the carbon footprint. You know, it's very bad according to ESG. But on the other hand, proof of stake is kind of centralizing crypto, and it's kind of this foundation controlled governance where, you know, you have these big Avalanche foundations and the Cardano Foundation, and they kind of have control of these networks, if not through voting and controlling the most tokens, but by controlling the upgrades and the direction of the chain. So proof of work ensures even token distribution, democratic token distribution, where miners kind of vote on who has the correct consensus and who's submitting the right blocks. And the ones that submit bad blocks, those guys are going to get slashed and they're going to lose part of their stake. So it's this weird proof of work, proof of stake hybrid. It combines the best attributes in a fair and decentralized manner. It's definitely interesting. But the point right now is we just need more hash power. And to do that, we have to spin up more nodes. You know, not even nodes, we need more miners, essentially. But we also need people running the sync node. So there's a lot of questions about the sync node. We kind of covered it in the stream yesterday. I actually have mine running right here. So it's just, it doesn't affect your mining. It doesn't affect really anything. As long as you have the storage on your computer, you let this thing run all day, it downloads a copy of the XenBlocks blockchain, and eventually that'll be used for the consensus on the network. Just like running a Bitcoin node. You can go to a Bitcoin node, I think it's bitcoin.org. Google Bitcoin node. You can run the Bitcoin node on your own computer, and it's basically downloading the entire 500 gigabyte Bitcoin blockchain, storing it on your computer, and you can query that database with Python and ask it questions. It's very cool. And it helps build consensus and keep the network secure. And that's exactly what we're doing with XenBlocks. It is kind of talking, and there is voting happening. And once it's fully built into the network and there's full consensus and decentralization, XenBlocks will be a real thing. It's not going to be a weekend project anymore. It'll be a real blockchain. It's going to be awesome. So right now, you know, we're kind of, the Jack and team are in the strategic development portion. Ongoing enhancements to sync node and network architecture, and that's kind of where they're coming up with the ideas for the Patricia tree and the Merkle trees, and building the consensus with the sync node and how the different endpoints and nodes will vote. And if you're staking and you're running sync node, you might be able to mine more rewards. There's a lot of ideas flying around in the Telegram. Definitely come chat in the Telegram if you have questions about XenBlocks. I have a link to the Telegram on hashhead.io and also on treecitytrading.us. And then some of the hopium, some of the things that are kind of head scratchers. This isn't confirmed. These are just kind of rumors that are flying around, but there might be some possible integration with X1, XN, with a future proof of stake network. You know, imagine this proof of stake, proof of work hybrid network where XenBlocks kind of handles this consensus layer using proof of work miners. But then there's also talks of an Ethereum bridge. Once the transfers get enabled, there's rumors that there will be a bridge to Ethereum. You'll be able to bridge over. You'll have the tokens on the Ethereum where you'll be able to interact with DeFi on Ethereum and then bridge back to the XenBlocks network and do your thing over there. So that's one way that value may be added, an Ethereum bridge. And then there's also talks of ASICs in FPGA, which is kind of a hardware specific mining. So there's definitely, it's still being developed, and there's still some brilliant minds talking about this. Shout out to Woody and, you know, that what's his name, Starfield or Starboy. Awesome assets to the community. These guys are great. So definitely keep getting the word out. That's really all I can feel like all I'm doing right now is just trying to talk about this, get the word out. I'm learning Python right along with you. I'm learning web development, so we're along for the ride. And it's been a blast, that's for sure. So yeah, SyncNode, the one thing about SyncNode is it does use a lot of storage, and it's growing over time. So a couple weeks ago, it was only a 20 meg database. But now we're up to 2 gigs, which realistically today, that's nothing. But it will continue to grow, so just want to keep that in mind. But yeah, if you're mining, if you're into it, come over to hashhead.com. You can pop your address in and get counts of all your blocks. You can see your total blocks, your Zuni blocks, your super blocks. One reprimanding video away from the moon. Yeah, for sure. And I'm pretty pumped, man. Thank you, Rolando, from the channel's first super chat. That's pretty awesome. That's fun. Proof of work coins. Pump with Bitcoin. Today was proof. Yeah, for sure. And I think it's because the SEC has straight up said that they're not securities. You know, proof of work, forks of Bitcoin, like Litecoin and Dogecoin, are not securities because they're proof of work. Which is pretty bullish for them. What's the use of Zuni? It's just a fun token. You know, when you're mining, you're finding these different hashes. So when you find the Zenium, you're finding a hash with, it says Zen 11. When you're finding super blocks, it says Zen 11, but there's 65 or more capital letters. When you find Zuni, the hash actually says Zuni in it, XUNI. And if you notice, you know, the Zen 11 is 5 characters, while the Zuni is only 4 characters. So the Zuni is actually much easier to find, but you can only find it for 10 minutes at the top of every hour. So between 7:55 and 8:05, you're able to mine Zunis, and you find some because they're easier, but they're only valid during that 10 minutes at the top of the hour. Your video yesterday shows how to run SyncNode. Yeah, we basically covered it. I mean, I'll run through it right now with you. It's super easy. If you're familiar with running the miner, it's kind of the same idea. So here, let's open this up. Let me make this big for you. All right, so we got our miner here, Zen miner main. So this is the file that you download from Jack's GitHub, the Zen miner main. If I type in dir in Windows, it shows me the list here, and this is just in Windows. I'm using Windows command prompt here. And so you see SyncNodes here. To run SyncNode, all you need is Python syncnode.py, and then you follow it up with your address. So to start syncing, actually let me cancel this one. So I'll type in Python syncnode.py. Keyboard skipping there. There we go. So I type in Python syncnode.py, and then I put in my wallet address and hit enter. And then it starts working. It's going out and it's fetching the blocks on the blockchain. So and now when it finds the blocks, it starts comparing them to the Merkle tree. And if it can rebuild the entire blockchain to match the stored Merkle root, then your Merkle tree is valid. That means the block that you downloaded, you verified is valid. So it kind of builds this whole tree of valid blocks. And if one of them's invalid, then the rest of the tree can't be verified. It's very interesting way. So that's kind of how the Merkle roots work. And that's why it says, block 158 is valid. Computed Merkle root matches the stored Merkle root. So your calculation matches the stored network calculation. Since you guys both figured out the entire Merkle tree and you match, you're submitting valid blocks and you should get rewarded for that. Now, if you're submitting invalid blocks and your Merkle root doesn't match and you're submitting some kind of bad data, you actually get fined, quote unquote, for that. You'll get slashed for that and you'll lose some of your rewards. And if they make you stake on a proof of stake network, you may actually lose some of your stake. So that's pretty interesting there. What's up, Penny? Welcome. Yeah, we're just hanging out, going over some XenBlocks stuff. Give me 1 second here. I gotta blow my nose. And we're back. Rewarded with what? With your mining rewards. So if you're a miner and you're validating blocks, you actually get a bonus. If you're a validator and you're submitting bad blocks, then you get slashed. And this is how most networks work. And you can actually see it on Ethereum when it happens. It'll show up as an event. So like, these are slashing violations on Ethereum. Let me zoom in here. So like this validator 275.274 was slashed by 282.010. So this validator submitted bad data and this one caught it. And it was an attestation violation, which is just a type of it basically saying it's attesting to the wrong invalid data. It's saying that it's right, but it's wrong. They actually get their rewards slashed and they get their ETH taken from them. And if you do a lot of slashing, you actually get banned, and they keep your entire stake and all your rewards. So slashing can occur due to an attestation or a proposal violation, according to the Ethereum Foundation. It's where one malicious validator attempts to change the history or double votes, attesting to two candidates for the same block. So it's basically trying to manipulate the chain. And if that happens and you're verifying bad data, then you could lose your rewards. You know, and that can happen for some weird reasons. You might not be doing something malicious, but say like something weird is going on, like the time's off on your computer, and it's using the time to create the hash, and the hash is off, so you keep submitting bad data over and over. Next thing you know, all your XenBlocks are gone because you got slashed. So it's one of the risks of being a validator on these big networks. You know, to be a validator on Ethereum, it's not like anybody can do it. You have to put up 32 ETH to be a validator on Ethereum. It's like, let me just pull that out of my pocket, you know. It's huge, and then you're risking being slashed if your validator submits bad data, you know, or if you go down. If say your VPS shuts off, you're using some Contabo VPS to be your Ethereum validator. Contabo, you know, they reset your server, and then the Ethereum network is trying to ping your validator so it verifies the transactions, but you're not there. That's another reason you get dinged. You know, you'll get removed as a validator, and then you have to get submitted back in and go through this whole hassle. What's up, Darcy boy? What's up, Michael Smart? Welcome, welcome. Haven't updated my miner in a minute. Is there anything I need to update with the code? Not necessarily. You may want to download a fresh copy. They cut over the domain. So the new domain for the leaderboard, it's no longer the moo.com. It's XenBlocks.io. So those URLs, they still use both, I think, but eventually it's only going to be XenBlocks.io. So if you have a version of the miner that's referencing zenminer.moo.com, you're going to have to update those URLs. Other than that, there's been an update for the Windows miner. So now there's an executable. You don't have to do any setup. You just download it. And it also supports AMD. So you just double click on the things. It'll start mining right in Windows. No setup required. But personally, I like using the Linux. Definitely makes things a little funner. So yeah, we're just talking XenBlocks. So let's see here. So when you run your sync node, you end up with the blockchain.db, which then you can query. You can come over to my GitHub and you can run these little charts and stuff. So it'll actually load the data up. And this is what we covered last night. Yeah, thanks for the nice words, Michael. That's awesome. Yeah, shout out to the 17 viewers. We're just hanging out on a Monday night. I should check the other streams. I'm not sure if anybody's watching on Kick or on Twitch. If you guys are on those platforms, definitely come give me a follow. So basically, I'm running the Python Explorer script that I created with ChatGPT, and it basically just creates these little charts. So when you run sync node, it creates the blockchain.db, and then you can run this Python script and it'll give you these little charts, and you can actually ask it questions on the database. So here you can see it's the XenBlocks Python Explorer So say you want to see statistics by, let's look at the daily block distribution. So how many super blocks are printed each day? So I'll just come in here, I'll type in 13, and it's actually going to give me a chart of the amount of super blocks printed each day. So today it looks like we're around 110. Yesterday we were under 100. Day before that we were closer to 130, it looks like. So that's pretty interesting to see. It should be consistent, but the way that it ebbs and flows, it's always a little different. And that's just kind of how it works. And this is all free. You know, these are just stupid little Python scripts. To get those, come over to hashhead.io. If you go to the bottom, click on treecitytrading.us. And then here I have a link to my GitHub, the YouTube, the Twitter. You can buy me a coffee if you'd like. And also, I encourage you to come over to the Zen World TG. You know, this Telegram was actually started by Crypto Bruh. And we're just talking all things Zen in there. You know, it's unfiltered. You know, we're just having fun, talking music, talking Zen, talking all things ecosystem. Talking about the CoinTools FUD, all that fun stuff. Should go mint some on CoinTools. I don't think I have any ETH though. Oh yeah, I wanted to watch this real quick because this was also some big alpha.
In fact, Ethereum had to be proof of work before it moved into proof of stake. When you launch a proof of stake chain, like for example, should we launch X1 as a proof of stake chain, you cannot secure that chain with an XN token if that token has no value, because there's this thing called slashing for the stakers. Like you have to stake something that's dear to you, and if XN has no value and you're staking it, and you can buy millions and millions of XN from the market for a couple of cents, then you cannot really secure a proof of stake network at all. So there has to be value for XN. Now, the way that contemporary proof of stake networks come to be today is that generally they hold an ICO. Generally, they have investors. Generally, they pump the hell out of their token. Like, for example, there was a number of, like Solana, for example, they raised a ton of money, and that's what's keeping Solana afloat. They have a lot of investors. Now, this is not really an organic way, the way that the chains are really supposed to launch, because it looks like a chain as a company. And to be honest, Charles Hoskinson was fired from Ethereum Foundation specifically for the fact that Vitalik wanted it to be a pure crypto that's fully decentralized, that is non-for-profit, where Charles really wanted to have a for-profit foundation or a company, and he wanted to be a CEO. So very similar situation with Gavin Wood. Both of those guys founded Ethereum. They just wanted to make money for themselves. And that is fine, but we should not convolute blockchain decentralized distributed technologies and call it fully decentralized if it has an element of investors that is actually keeping the value of the tokens that are staked higher. Because again, if you stake tokens that are worth nothing, then you cannot secure the blockchain. Now, going back to proof of work is undeniably a better system where you can spend your time and compute power to generate tokens that are linked to the value.
Boom. So that's exactly what I was just talking about there with the value of the blockchain and the slashing. And it's interesting when you put it in the context of XN and the X1 network. If you're going to launch a fair network, how are you going to secure it without stakeholders already existing, as if there was a pre-sale? Because what could honestly happen, if it was a fair launch and it got dumped like Zen, somebody could easily buy 50% of the stake and then control the entire network and just rewrite everything. So there has to be some consensus mechanism in place that prevents that, where it can still be fair. And that's what proof of work is. That's pretty cool. The block theory of value. Yes, sir. Hash heads. Shout out to the hash heads. All right, so we got one more thing tonight. I just kind of wanted to show you guys how I like to set up my miner. So I like to use my own miner. So let's do this. First, I'll show you how I shop. Now, I was running 24090s for the weekend. Got me a bunch of blocks, but I ran out and it shut my miners down. So let me log in real quick. So I loaded up, 20 bucks, and this 20 bucks is going to last me until next weekend. And then next weekend, maybe, I'll play around with some more powerful stuff, but this is just for, for the week. So let me get logged in here and we'll do some shopping. So the first thing I like to do when I'm shopping for GPUs on Vast is I like to sort it by a couple different things. First, I look at the cheapest, just the outright cheapest, see what's cheap. You got a 3090 here for 28 cents. That's pretty steep for a 3090. I'd like to get that closer to 20 cents. You got a 4090 for 38. That's way too expensive. Got an two A40s for $1. That's pretty slick. 3080 Ti, none of those. So you got a single 3080 for 70 cents, or you can get a 3090 for 28 cents. That makes sense, right? So, not really seeing any good deals. Another way I like to look is the T-flops per hour. So it's kind of a different way to look at the value. So it's basically the compute power per hour per dollar, I guess. Look at the flops, just see what the biggest rigs are right now. So look, that's kind of crazy. So you got 8 3090s for $224, and then you have 6 3090s for 11 bucks. That doesn't make sense. So as you can see, you really do have to kind of dig for the right price. But just for the sake of the show, we'll probably do that 3090 if it's still there. One of you guys take that? What the hell? If I'm looking for the latest update on how to mine XenBlocks, what link would you drop in the chat? Well, here, I mean, we're going through it right now, so I would definitely check out CryptoBruh's Vast video, and I also have one, how to GPU mine. I think that's an awesome starting place. I'll drop that in the chat for you. And then it's really just getting comfortable. If you have a computer, if you have a computer with a graphics card in it, I highly suggest practicing like on your home machine first. Like on this one, I have a 1080, so I set this thing up to run, and it only gets me 300 or 400 hashes a second, which really isn't a lot, but I like to practice with it, so I like to play around with it. Once I got it down, you can actually rent some high-powered processing. I gotta sign in 1 second. So yeah, I just put that link in the chat there for you. But anyways, so we're basically just shopping for a cheap GPU right now. You can get a 1070 for 5 cents, a 3060 for 8 cents. The 1080, that's basically what I'm running at home. Those are 18 cents. So this 3080 for 19 cents, that's not too bad. All right, we're gonna go with a 3090 here. It's 24 cents an hour. That's a little steep. I like to get it closer to 20 cents, but just for the sake of the show, we're gonna run it out. So I loaded up 30 bucks. I'm gonna go ahead and rent this. So to start, I hit the rent button. Then it creates the instance, and I can head over to the instance page. They usually take a couple seconds to boot up. Really, I shouldn't be showing this because you'll be able to see the IP address and everything, but I already have my key set up, so you won't know the private key to be able to authenticate. So that's nice. Rent 4x GPUs is level 3. Yeah, I feel that. So we're just gonna let this spin up here. You can see the current status is loading, intended status is running, so once this switches to running, okay, so now we're good. Now this button switched to connect, it no longer says loading. Now what I like to do is get my guide ready. So I'll head over to GitHub, and I have the Xenium miner set up. This is actually on my GitHub. You can get there from treecitytrading.us. There's also a link in the YouTube video that I put in the chat to this guide. I just like this guide just because of how this is. I can just quickly just copy and paste these commands, and you'll see what I mean here. So let me open up. We'll do this in command prompt. Oops. And this is how I do it. This is how I set up the miner. Let me get zoomed in for you though. So first we're going to open up WSL. That's the Windows subsystem for Linux. Basically just puts Linux on your machine. I recommend doing this instead of directly in Windows, especially if it's just easier to manage, easier to copy and paste the commands. So once I load up to Linux here, you can see it changes from the C users to the root at. That just shows me that I'm in Linux now. I'm going to type in cd/. That takes me to the root. And now I can connect. So what I do is you create the key pair and you end up with two things. You have your public key and your private key. You put one side of the key into VAST, and then you put the other side of the key into the root of your Linux installation. So if I type in dir here, I have my private key right here. So this file that says my key, that is my VAST AI key, and that's how I connect. So now I'm going to go back to VAST, go into my instance here. I'll click on this connect button, and it's going to give me these two commands. So these are just command line basic SSH connection. So I'll just double click on this, and I'm going to paste it right into Linux. Oops. Right click to paste. Now the difference is I need to tell it to use my key. So I'm going to type in -i, then the name of my key, which is my key, my_key. So now this should connect directly to VAST using my private key. I won't have to type in my password or anything. It just uses my key. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes. And boom, now I'm in VAST. So it's just that easy. The one thing about VAST though, I like to use tmux to manage my miners. So they recommend disabling tmux if you're going to run it yourself. I recommend disabling it. So I'm going to copy and paste this command in here. No tmux, and then we're going to exit. And now I'm going to reconnect. Just hit up to hit that same command, and now we're back in, and notice there's no tmux. Now I can just do my own thing. So I'm going to go over to my guide, and I'm just going to paste these in here one at a time. Boom. So doing the first command, it's updating the package list, it's upgrading the installed packages, it's doing its thing. Just realized you can't see the bottom. It's my bad. There we go. And yeah, and this is how I do it. This is exactly how I set up my miner. So I just come in here, paste the second command. This one installs git, it installs cmake, it installs make, it installs the sudo packages, and it just basically installs all the prereqs. Next one is the git clone. Straight up paste it in there. Copies the git clone. Next command, paste the miner in here. cd XenGPU miner. It just opens the folder. Now we're inside of the folder. Sudo apt-get install. All right, now it's installing the Python 3. Now we're going to install the Python 3, the requirements file using the Python 3 that we just installed. So now it's going to install requests and all those different things. Next we install Nano, which is the text editor. Next we install the toolkit. And you can see I'm just flying through this. I'm not even typing anything. I'm just copy and pasting, copy and pasting. Whoops. Hopefully that works. I did 2 Y's instead of 1. Oops. I think it'll work. So it's rolling through here, and the CUDA toolkit is the longest install. It definitely takes the longest, but that's because it's the most advanced too. It's basically the driver install with the toolkit. The one thing is to be mindful of, there are different versions of CUDA, and I kind of do a sidestep, a sidetrack. I don't always use the latest version, so we'll talk about that in the next commands. But when I build my architecture, even though I'm using a command that might be compatible with an 8.9, the 8.9 or the 8.6, I always just default back to 75, just because for the sake of convenience. I don't think it makes that big of a difference, but I should probably test that out. You'll see what I mean here in a second. So it's running through the CUDA install at 25%. And yeah, it's important to come into these things with the plan. You know, it's easy to say, oh, I'm gonna get one of these miners for $2 an hour. You know, $2 an hour, that's expensive. That adds up quick. You know, there's 24 hours in the day. So when you start talking about monthly, you know, 25 cents is like $200 a month, which is a lot. You know, that's a bill for me. You know, I still got to pay my bills. So it's definitely interesting to think. Try to do this in a way or it's kind of fun to me to like splurge on the weekends. You know, I'll let this like 20 cents an hour machine run for the next 5 days, but then on Saturday when I can kind of monitor it more and I can kind of get excited when I get more blocks, you know, maybe I will rent like the 4x 4090 or the 8x 4090 or the 8x A40s just for the weekend, just for fun. You know, that's the level of nerd that we're at right now, for sure. So you can see the CUDA thing is still doing its thing. In sync node, but the Cowboys game. Man, I can't believe the Browns won yesterday. I haven't been able to watch the Browns this year, and I was really surprised to hear they won yesterday. That was pretty cool. Can you even say it's a win, like, when you're celebrating that the team lost the game-winning kick, though? Like, a win's a win, I guess. They beat the 49ers. They're a pretty nice team. I'm not even sure who the Cowboys are playing tonight. Nerd level's out of here, that's for sure. Alright, so that finished up. Sometimes that gets stuck. If it gets stuck, you just hit enter, and then it shows you the rest of the command. So that finished up. Let's go ahead and open the nano config. So now I'll come in here. Let me grab my wallet address out of MetaMask. I'll use the delete button, clear that out of there. Right click, paste, save, overwrite, exit. Boom. Now we have to build the script to build the miner. We're gonna go ahead and run CUDA Arch SM75. Go ahead and build this out. And what it's doing now, when you run the build script, it's actually compiling a program to use the GPU miner. And the GPU miner is kind of advanced, so it has to use C programming language to be able to manage all the cores. It's just more of a complex program, so you kind of have to build the program, and you do that by running this build script. It's pretty cool. So you can definitely try different architecture levels. I just haven't had luck. Like, if you look at the NVIDIA website, maybe it's something I'm doing wrong, but it says the 3090 should be an 8.6 architecture, but I just ran that with the 75 and it was successful. If I try to run it with the 8.6, it never works, which is kind of weird for me. So yeah, now we built our miner, and now this is where the different guides kind of go different. I like the tmux route, so I'll build a tmux script. So basically just copy sudo nano tmux, and all that does is open a blank text file called tmux.sh. So now we're in the nano editor. Our file is called tmux.sh. Now I'm going to come down here to the script, and I'm just going to copy and paste this script in here. Boom. That's all you got to do. Now the one thing, I do have this -B128. I like to clear that out. Some miners require that. My other one does, so I just kind of left it in there, but this one doesn't, so I'm going to take that out. I'll hit Control-O to save. It'll overwrite the file. We'll back it up, and now we're going to let it rip. So the first thing to do is make the script executable. Oops. So it's the sudo chmod +x tmux.sh. And now we type in the command to execute the script. /tmux.sh. And let's see what happens. And just like that, we're mining. First time. Ugh, I hate it. Why does it look like that? Let me restart it. So to kill tmux, you type in killmux t server, or tmux kill server. And now we can just restart the miner. Should be pretty now that I made my screen wider. Yeah, there we go. So you can see we're getting about 3,300 hashes per second with the 3390, or with the 3090. That's pretty solid. Confirm it's the right card here. GeForce RTX 3090. Has the difficulty. Want to make sure your difficulty level's updating. Make sure your address is correct here. It's not the default address. And everything looks good. First try. Just using the script. All you have to do is copy and paste right down the line with the script that I have on GitHub here. These commands, this little guide. Very easy. And that's what I use. That's how I do it. So I hope you guys dig that. Like the evening stream. Hell yeah, me too. I think we're going to continue this. So I'm going to be streaming most nights during the week, and then you should see the new join button. So down below, if you want to join the channel for $4.99 every weekend, I've been doing the Saturday and Sunday streams. Now those are going to be private for members only, and they're going to be kind of deep dives into my personal portfolio. We can do one-on-one questions. It's going to be more of an intimate, interactive type of stream, rather than this where I'm just mumbling about Python commands I'm running. Yeah, tmux is cool. It's just a terminal multiplexer, so it just shows me both screens at once. That's really all it's doing. Just splits them in half, and you can see that in the script itself. It basically splits the window horizontally, and then it sends Python miner.py, and it sends the Zen GPU miner in each of the windows. So It is actually pretty simple, but I get it though. I mean, it is intimidating. It's intimidating when you start splitting windows and there's all these commands you have to learn. Like if I want to bounce around, you'll notice I want to point at the monitor like you can see it. This side's green and this side's white. That means the bottom's active. So if I hit enter here, you can see the bottom. Now if I hit Control B and the up arrow, now the top's active. So you can actually go back and forth between the top and the bottom screens. And then if one's not working, you can start and stop it. Like I can stop the bottom miner. Now you'll notice the top stopped. You can restart the bottom miner, and now it's going again. So it's really just showing me 2 console windows in one. It's pretty nice, right? So in addition to I also included these basic commands. So these are also for Linux. So there's the Control B command, Control B O C N, and it shows how to switch between the panes, switch vertically, create new windows. If you do Control B and D, it takes you back to the screen, and then you can do the attach. So I'll just paste this in here. It should attach me back to my session. It's actually called it's called GPU Miner. And now I'm back in my session just by using these little hotkeys and commands here. So definitely check that out over on the GitHub. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, and honestly, I didn't know any of this when I first started with the XenBlocks thing. It's been such an enlightening experience. I've had so much fun learning this stuff. It's been great. So just real quick. Oh yeah, the other thing, I forgot about XenGarbage We were like in the middle of testing that. I wonder if the testnet's still up. I like burned a bunch of fake stuff. Every time I see the name GD Zen, it's like, goddamn Zen. This will be the last thing, and then we're gonna wrap it up. But I'm kind of curious what happened here. Did I get penalized for forgetting about it? I'm not sure. So let's switch over to Girly here. Got my Girly ETH. All right. I forgot I can't read Chinese. There we go. Okay, so I can claim 0.0003 ETH. I got 1.88 goddamn Zen. And I got 5.5 Zcash. This is the ticker for Zcash, I'm pretty sure, right? Or it's eCash, not Zcash. It's the eCash ticker. No, but this is their own token. It's just the same ticker as eCash. So that's cool. So I can claim these, and then what can I do? I think I can burn to earn. So I think I can burn my goddamn Zen to get some eCash. Sorry if I'm being confusing. I'm having too much fun. What is the name of this token? It's a Zen. You got the goddamn Zen and you got the eCash. I don't know. Definitely want to claim my Girly ETH and my goddamn Zen. Yeah, it's the GD Zen. It's the goddamn Zen. Execution reverted. Goddamn Zen health less than 100. So I can't claim it? So I can get some F Zen. So I can get some fuck Zen to burn for goddamn Zen. So let me claim some F Zen and then we'll burn that for some goddamn Zen. Zen's up 28%. Hell yeah. Is it because of the Zen garbage dump? Is that what's happening right now? Up 30%. All of them. Look at that. PZen's up 18%. The Zen ETF just got approved. Ooh, that's kind of interesting, though. We are breaking out of that downtrend. Let's take a look at that. That looks like a bottom, doesn't it? What do we got going on down here? Minimum 5 ETH. There's no buys. 2 ETH. Someone spent 3.5 ETH on 12 billion Zen. And what did they do with it? Doing something funky with it. Ah, they're making some LP. Collect. It's pretty cool. I don't trust it, but we did get... It's funny, at the beginning of the stream, I was talking about that zone right there. Yeah, we were using this zone as support, and then we fell through and we couldn't get back above it, and now we're back above it. And what's interesting is we're actually back above this, so if we could hold this, that would be super bullish. We come up here and kind of bounce like that. Retest it. Alright, I got my FZen. So if I burn all this... Not sure what happened there. Might be trying to do too much. Insufficient fee, so I don't have enough fee. Let's do it like we're gonna burn millions. So if I burn 10 million, if I burn 10 million FZen, it's gonna cost me $1.24 in Girly ETH. And that'll give me 5.5 garbage can tokens. My health is 70%. I'm really having a hard time understanding what's happening here, but that did just fly in that trash can, which is pretty funny. That's kind of cool. All right, so here's my 5.5 eCash. Zen garbage, Zen can. Transaction success. So can I claim? So you can only claim your goddamn Zen if your health is over 100? Is that what I'm seeing here? It's interesting. So what's happening with Zen right now? We're definitely getting a bit of a pump. And for that, Zen will take off. Hell yeah. Let's clear this filter here, see what's happening. I don't get it. There's so much FUD around Zen right now. All this coin tools nonsense, all this, you know, DB Zen, this whole backdoor thing. Something about access lists. I don't even know. Why is Zen pumping right now? None of it makes any sense. I love it though. Don't get me wrong. It just doesn't feel real. Why are we over 4? We're supposed to be like down here. I was fully expecting 6 zeros 2 6. Why are we at 6 zeros 4 2? It's good, don't get me wrong. Let's go look at the watch list, see how the other chains are doing. So Zen on ETH up 30% in the last 24 hours. Polygon Zen up 27% in the last 24. AVAX Zen 17. So everything's pumping over the last 24 in the Zen ecosystem, other than the weirdo coins. VV Zen, Co Zen. I'm just kidding. We have enough of that. That's funny. Yeah, I feel that. How's DB Zen looking? So, of all things, base. DB Zen on base is up 32%. Phantom's up 23%. Moonbeam's down 27%. We're all just hanging out. How about the Zen alts? Matic Phoenix up 20%. $100 in volume. Yeah, so is this just somebody buying? They're like, all right, I like Phoenix, I'm gonna buy $100 worth, or is it just someone removing liquidity? That's kind of funny. Yeah, someone's pecking away. That's the way to do it with these type of coins, especially in the bear market. If you can catch these bottoms, like this looks like a nice round. That's pretty cool. Hell yeah, what's up, Tech Ken? Where are my burners at? Yeah, I feel that.
He's on fire!
Alright, well on that note, it's getting late. It's 9 o'clock here. I have a long day at work tomorrow, but we will be back tomorrow. I appreciate you. Shout out to Rolando for the 99 cent, my first super chat. That's awesome. Thank you so much, sir. That's great. I love this new setup here. If we want to get intimate, we can. I can kind of zoom in here, see what's going on. So I definitely appreciate the support. I hope you guys sign up to be members. I'm just here to spread the ecosystem, spread the Zen ecosystem, spread the word of Bitcoin, fair crypto in general. So I definitely appreciate your time. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're so inclined, if you use the tools, hashhead.io, if you use tools on my GitHub, use the guides, definitely head over to treecitytrading.us. Buy me a coffee maybe. But regardless, I'll be here for you guys. If you guys need anything, you'll find me in the XenBlocks Telegram. There's a link to that over on treecitytrading.us. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow. Tree City West is out. Stay Zen. Hey, shout out to Tech Ken, man. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the late super chat. I caught that. Thank you so much, dude. All right, you guys have a good night.